Good morning. We will begin the Health Committee February 7th, 2023 at 9 a.m. Would you take that roll?
Ducat. Geiger.
Here.
Hughes.
Yes.
Whitlow.
Here.
Awful.
Here. All right, can I have someone approve, give me a motion to approve the agenda? Second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Everyone, see the claims in the email? All right, can I have, a motion to approve the claims? Mr. Duquette? Second?
Second.
Okay.
Ducat.
Yes.
Geiger.
Yes.
Hughes.
Yes.
Whitlow.
Yes.
Awful.
Yes. Any public comments? No public? All right, we'll have a report from Jill Johnson on animal control.
The total deposit for the month of, excuse me, for last month was $3,855. We have notifications going out this week for anybody who needs a reminder of their dog's expiring rabies vaccination or registration tags. We currently have 4 cases, well, we had 4 cases before last night. We have 6 cases now. We have 5 dogs that are waiting to either get claimed or be placed. Last night we ended up picking up 2 more. The officers closed 24 cases last month. There were 7 dogs running loose, 4 bite reports closed, 5 abandoned dogs, 5 well checks done, and those were various well checks. We had 1 call for some horses again, and we had another call for some deceased cattle. So 1 aggressive dog and 1 possible hit by car dog, and then we did have a bat, and it already has been sent off, tested, and it is negative.
Any questions for Jill? Okay, we will move on to the health department. Eric Casey. Good morning, Eric.
Good morning, everybody.
Thank you.
Okay. So, let's start off with the program summary report before you. Nothing too out of the ordinary on page 1, that's environmental health, that you're looking at right there on the top. Continuing to order to issue permits during the month of January. You won't see that number will continue to decrease drastically as we get into the new year. That's normal business. Most of the permits are issued December into January. There was a bump in the amount of radon test kits that we issued out. It was Radon Awareness Month, so we did a press release, did a quick TV interview as a result of that, so we got a little more attention to that matter, so we were able to give out some more free radon test kits. So that's a good.
If you have a high number of radon in your home, what is it you do? What do you have to do?
There are radon mitigation specialists that they're contractors that you can then hire, which will install a ventilation system in your home.
Which is costly.
You know, not having personally done it myself, I'm not entirely aware. I compare it to in the range of buying a new appliance to installing a new furnace. Essentially, let's say you got a typical basement. They'll drill through the concrete of your basement and then attach this PVC ventilation system with a fan at the bottom to basically pump the air in the lowest level of your home safely out of the house. It creates air circulation and reduces the amount of radon gas into your home, going into your home. So, yes, sir.
Well, Barb knows where I used to live, on the west side of town. We had to mitigate that radon there. And we had some people come down from up north, I was thinking Homewood or somewhere like that. and it was around $1,700.
Thank you for that.
They did every house down Washington Street next to Kings River. Every single one of them.
They brought it down just like that too.
It is relatively easily mitigated, just upfront costs, and it's kind of painful for some families. However, what's more painful is lung cancer, so. So yeah, but, there's no requirement. If someone does test their home and it comes out high, the health department doesn't come down on them and say, you have to fix it. It's just like, hey, if you don't fix it, you're gonna suffer the consequences in your own health. So, yeah. That's free rate on test kits for anybody that lives in your Quake County. Unless there's any questions on environmental health, I'll continue to page 2. Community health. Continuing to give out, continue to shell out vaccines. Had a big drop in COVID-19 immunizations. December was just kind of a busy month for that. And typically with COVID-19 boosters, we see a lot of people come in around the holidays to try to get a boost in immunization right before they meet up with their families. So we've seen a decrease in that. Noticing animal bites, there's 6 reports there, 4 dogs and 2 cats. I don't believe any of them came back positive. There was 2 COVID-19 outbreaks. Both of those were at long-term care facilities within Iroquois County. Let's see, what else?
Influenza invasive, how do you pronounce that? The 4 in January.
I'm gonna try my hardest. Haemophilus influenza invasive.
Okay, what is that?
Well, there was only of the 4, only one of those was confirmed. The other 3 were actually not cases. When you're looking at this communicable disease investigation section, understand that these are investigations, not reports of set incidents. So, but it's a particular type of influenza. So, only one of them was a case. Hep C, there was 4 investigations, but none of them were cases. Influenza with ICU admissions. There was 2 ICU admissions for people with probable influenza, and there was 1 death amongst those 2. Rabies, that came back negative, and 1 rubella investigation that also came back negative. Does anybody have any questions about this page? Keep on with the. We fleshed a couple more things out with this program summary report, so the spacing is a little bit different than you may be used to. So on the next page, you see TB. We have 1 patient on medication. It's the same patient we had for a number of months, latent TB case. We did have 1 X-ray referral. Sometimes TB skin tests don't work well for everyone, or they had a false positive before, so sometimes it's just we get sent in for a chest X-ray. So we did 1 of those referrals. Let's see. Nothing really terribly out of the ordinary on the rest of this page, unless anybody has any questions. Just a quick reminder, we do really give out Narcan or Naxalone to people of the public if you need, or if you just want to have on hand some Naxalone, come to the health department and give you some.
This Narcan training, is that people from the public you're training?
Yes. We'll do both. We'll take walk-ins or appointments and say, hey, I want to come in and get some Narcan, or just somebody that walks in, says some Narcan, give them a brief training on it. And also, sometimes if we have the staff availability, if there's a group out there, say a school or someone else that's looking for Narcan training, if we have staff available, we'll go send them out to give that training and then. Nothing else? All fit. And on the last page, so we've been busy with vision and hearing screenings. That's all pretty normal. And in these senior services, we have this temporary program where we have some grant money that we can use to do some grocery shopping for Cook County residents that are at least 60 years old or older. Last month alone, we were able to do 68 shopping trips. So and we spend a lot of money in groceries for people. So it's actually something that I'm proud of. We're not gonna have this program forever. It's gonna end the 30th of June. But with the rising cost of groceries, we spend between $100 and $200 on each of these families who go shopping on. So it's a program that I'm proud of, so I wanted to start reporting those numbers. See, December was a lot higher. We actually had a large backlog that started building up in November. We had a staffing shortage. We would fix that staffing shortage by hiring a new employee, and we reduced our backlog, and we're pretty much caught up now, keeping up. So
What will happen to the employee once the grant runs out?
it's a temporary assignment, and that employee is, when they're hired, say, hey, this program ends 30th of June.
So you're back to full service with all your employees?
Well, we did have one resignation late last week. But you'll see probably a posting about that, a posting for that position either late this week or next week. For the brief moment, yes. That's like,
It is.
Any information, grants?
Grants. We finally got our grant contract for radon from IEMA. It's non-competitive, we never gonna get it, it's just wild getting the paperwork in. Mass vaccination grant, that ended as of June 31st, so we're wrapping up reporting for that grant. Continuing COVID-19 response grant, and then we are looking towards, hopefully, IEPH has stated to us, you are going to get this much non-competitive Iroquois County Public Health Department, but another vaccination grant and targeted towards vaccines for variety, whether it's influenza, COVID-19, NMR, so on and so forth. So hopefully get another grant for that soon. Besides that, just keeping up on our grant reporting. January's a big month for that. It's the end of the month, the end of the quarter. So that's where we're at in terms of grants. I have a few other things to report on, but before I do, any questions on the program summary report? Okey-dokey. There was a recent complaint, we received the same complaint from numerous individuals about a food establishment here in Iroquois County. Just to refresh everyone on the policy, when we receive an official complaint, we have paperwork to fill out to document that we received this complaint and who issued us the complaint. The person that then issued us the complaint, we need to write their name down so we can have official documentation, but we do not tell people so-and-so reported you. So there's no fear of retaliation there. We followed up with that food establishment and the issue had already been corrected immediately. The complaint came from so many people because it was posted online, videos are posted online of inappropriate behavior at this food establishment. Before we even got there, they had already fixed it. So, but we followed
How
up.
did they fix it?
Well, there's some things that I can't say, but it's been permanently fixed. So, just a refresher on our procedure for that. When we have a complaint, we have to follow up with it with so many days. We do, and then we document on our food complaint what actions were taken and when we followed up, when we spoke to about it, so on and so forth.
Pretty good.
There was as everyone I'm sure is aware, President Biden and Governor Pritzker announced an end to the COVID-19 emergency as of the 11th of May, which is good news. It's good news. COVID-19 is going to continue to be a problem. We are still going to have to keep up on the evolving virus and consequently evolving vaccines for said illness. And then also going to have to deal with people still getting COVID-19 and still dying from COVID-19. That has lessened off, but we are still seeing hundreds of deaths in Illinois a month. So we will continue to work with that. Obviously, local health departments do a lot less in terms of contact tracing now, but we still work with people on outbreak settings, and we still provide isolation and quarantine advice when asked, so on and so forth. So even though the emergency is ending, our current level of activity in COVID-19 will not lessen at the health department. We're still gonna have to keep working hard at this, but we're prepared to. There will be other implications which I'm not fully aware of yet with the emergency ending. And not just on health departments, but on the healthcare infrastructure. So that'll be interesting to see as it's played out. But an end to the COVID-19 emergency, regardless of the additional ramifications, is a good thing. It's a good sign. And we're still gonna have to deal with it, but we're also going to be looking at all the other public health threats we have to deal with on a daily basis. And lastly, at the last Board of Health meeting, the Board of Health approved a fee for farmers markets. Specifically, Illinois Public Act 1020862 required that local health departments assess a new fee for specific farmers market vendors. And reading straight from the Public Act, people that are selling frozen potentially hazardous foods that are prepackaged at a licensed or permitted processing facility, but have the main ingredient grown or raised on the farmer's farm. Or, and this is mainly what will apply here, meat, poultry, dairy, and eggs raised or grown on the farm of the farmer selling the food product. So, we had some discussion, and there was, the Public Act allows for setting two separate fees. The Board of Health decided to assess an annual $50 flat fee specific to these vendors. So this fee, while it's been approved by the Board of Health, it also needs to be approved by the county board before we can start assessing this fee. So, ask you guys to consider that and pass on to the full board, please.
That fee is good for the whole county, for that vendor to sell anywhere,
Yes,
and it's a yearly.
yes. $50 for a whole year for Iroquois County.
So we need a motion to send this to the full board, is what you're saying?
Yes, please.
I think it's something that has to be in the form of an ordinance.
I discussed that with Ms. Super, just briefly.
Right. I write ordinances for stuff that I know, but
Fair.
you need to have Jim Devine write it.
Looking at the current county food ordinance, the current county food ordinance does not set the exact fee number. It says that the Board of Health will set the fee and that it needs to be approved by the county board. But the actual dollar amount is not in the ordinance. And if we don't change the food ordinance any year we ever have to change our fees. So I'm not sure that we have to change the ordinance, and changing the food ordinance would open up a whole new bag of worms. So, in short, I don't think we have to. I'd be happy to consult with the State Attorney Jim Devine on this. But I think we can avoid opening the food ordinance at this time, because the actual dollar amount is not specified, but just the procedure and how we need to approve fees.
Probably be a good idea to check with Mr. Devine.
So I will.
Before we take a motion? Okay. Any questions?
You don't have the ordinance with you, do you?
It's over in my office. Oh wait,
Just to read, just for information.
hey, there it is. Ordinance ordinance number 2018-3, an ordinance governing food service and sanitation.
Maybe after the meeting we can pass around or something.
We got plenty of time.
Chickens are laying tomorrow.
I hope. Just don't forget to bring them.
Not warm enough.
There shall be a fee as determined by the Board of Health and approved by the Iroquois County Board. Initial permit to food service establishments or retail food stores inclusive of permanent and temporary permits. Their fee shall be determined by the Board of Health and approved by the Iroquois County Board. Construction plan review, that's permanent places.
We haven't always done $50, what was it before?
Well, this is a new fee. Previously, in previous years, vendors that were selling this kind of products needed to apply for a temporary food permit that would last a short-term period of time. And that fee was $75, and they'd have to then make up that $75 during that time period and then reapply, pay a new $75. So fiscally, this is a heck of a lot better for these particular food type vendors.
What's $50 gonna be used for?
$50 will just cover our costs. And states and public act, that's all we can charge.
For inspecting, gas mileage to inspect.
Gas, mileage, the sanitarian's time, and then our time in the office. Running through the applications and then filling out permits, signing them, mailing them. Typical office work.
So it's stuff we've created. You have to get them to pay for it.
Okay. You see how I have a problem with that too.
Yeah.
But you can go buy a bag of chips for $2.99 and it's unhealthy for you, but you'll buy that, but you gotta charge a fee to somebody that can give something that's healthy for somebody. Unless they make pancakes, then they're really good, they should eat them anyways. I'm following you.
Any questions? Okay, thank you, Eric.
Of course. The
All
company
right.
can.
Thanks.
Did you vote on the motion?
We didn't do the motion.
No.
You said you wanted to take time to look at this.
Yeah.
If the health committee wants to move and then
You can
Pending
motion to approve
state's
it.
attorney's approval.
Okay, let's have a motion. Go ahead, what do you?
Then do you want us, the full board, do a vote on if Jim Devine agrees to it? That's what I figured. Okay.
All right, so go ahead and make the motion.
I don't think there's any problem or issues, I just think it's a matter of just to follow, make sure we get all the bases covered, that's all.
How are you, I'm just asking, how are you parceling out? Like the state legislation parceled out the homegrown portion of eggs versus carrots?
Yeah.
Because of why, I'm just asking, but I'm confused on how or why.
That's fair. The potential hazards associated with selling meat, dairy, or eggs
Mhm.
fresh from a farm at a farmer's market is much higher than somebody selling whole produce. If I go pick my carrots and tomatoes, don't cut them up or anything, and just bring them to the market, there is little to no hazard to the public.
You could spray all sorts of chemicals on your crops,
Yes,
so, yeah.
yes, get it. But the inherent hazards that come with raw milk, dairy, and eggs, and meat, those hazards are much higher, and they have to be temperature controlled sometimes. So that's why different legislation, and that's why these things are differently inspected. They're more hazardous. This legislation opens up availability of these products to be sold to the public. It makes it easier for these vendors to be able to sell them, because currently they have to pay more money, and they have to submit applications with us multiple times a year in order to sell their products. This legislation allows one application and one permit a year for less money than just one temporary food permit. And I know we have current vendors that have been doing business over the previous year, selling these products that have spent $75, $75. Now they're gonna be able to pay one fee to be done. We gotta inspect them twice a year. at the minimum requirement according to our county food ordinance for any vendor. And it's gonna be easier for them. And
This
she,
is actually a good price because you went with Champagne, what were they charging?
Champagne was, I think, was striking $50 as well.
But then one of the other ones was like $150 or something.
$50 is, I think, the least that I've heard of. You know, I haven't done a full Illinois scan of what other counties are doing. But
When you're dealing with the public, you wanna keep them safe, you know?
that's why we're here.
What price? $25?
Whatever is covering our costs.
What can you do today?
Well, my granddaughter got salmonella from an egg, and my, you know, was on a farm. You can do something to an egg.
Absolutely.
$50 statewide.
No, $50 is everybody
They're
can.
quick now.
Everybody else around us is doing $50?
Everyone else around us is doing $50 or more. The state public act actually caps how much we can charge for this currently. And the caps are, if it's just eggs, $75 a year. Or if it was the other things, meat, dairy, frozen products, so on and so forth, it's capped at $175. So we are well below the state cap on this.
So you need from me, Eric, the motion to approve the one-time $50 fee
We need a motion to.
for ordinance 2018-3,
Not anymore.
if you want it for.
I don't think we need to change the ordinance at this point. It's something I'm gonna email Jeremiah about, but just approving the fee that the Board of Health has set for us.
Is it a one-time fee or annual?
It's being,
Okay.
Thank you.
This question, when I think about it more, is look at the beef inspectors, that every day when they butcher, there has to be an inspector on site to butcher. You're doing it twice a year on butchering. Then-
we don't inspect butchery.
So that means the meat that they're sold at these farmers market, there's no checking of any type of nutrition or
It's just to make sure, you know, it's under the right temperature, right?
When health departments are inspecting any food establishment,
right.
meat, so on and so forth, we're inspecting the retail sale of food. We do not inspect butchery.
Right, what I'm saying is we're a little bit liable because the public thinks that we inspected it, when really we haven't inspected anything when it comes to beef or dairy. Back to the eggs again, it's, certain things can be done to eggs, but not as much as the beef. The people are selling out of their, I guess when I think back about it, their coolers that have been there Saturday mornings until noon, you know, just yikes.
Well, the temperature is specifically something that we always check with anything. And, I mean, if you were going to read this entire thing, you'd see all the different things that we're required to inspect,
Alright.
including temperatures
Well, I'm not
of
saying
meat, dairy, and eggs.
it's your fault, it just seems like it's, what came first, the chicken or the egg?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the annual fee of $50.
Second. Andy,
Yes.
have a second?
I'll second.
Do we need a roll call?
Do that. Steiger,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
Whitlam,
Yes.
Alpha.
Yes. Okay. Do we have any old business?
Achievements.
New business? Under new business, we have the Abra fourth quarter 2022. And the profit and loss first quarter of 2023.
Anybody get you involved? They can do it. Well, we didn't have a phone. Sorry about that. They had a house that had issues, they had to put,
Shelter.
I believe so, was that house down in Sheldon? Don? Or Arpa? Was the house down in Sheldon? Yep. And they had new doors, and then they tried to keep their house as normal as it can be. And the downside of it was the inspector made them put emergency tabs all over the place. So they had to pay for that, they had money for it, so we helped them out with that. Try to get the indoors to keep the house still living a normal life.
So what's the question here today?
No, that's just their,
Report.
Just have a report. I was just telling her we did in ARPA.
Okay.
I always feel any information somebody has about something needs to be shared with.
Hey, everybody had a chance to look at it? All right. Can I have a motion to adjourn? Second. All in favor, say aye.
I
Opposed? We are adjourned.